so that won't ever happen again.
You look at it that the battle is ongoing between you and Breland to potentially start at that other cornerback spot?
Well, I'll just leave it up to Coach Zim and Coach Scott. I'm comfortable with whatever decision they make. If I don't start, whenever my number is called, I'll be ready. And if I do start, I'll be ready to start.
Mackey and Judd, that's Cam Dantzler talking about finally being back in the mix to maybe start. But let's bring her in here. She's a 4-time WNBA champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, has a jersey in the rafters or two. I could keep going with the credentials, but she's the head coach of the University of Minnesota women's basketball team and friend of the show, Lindsay Whalen. Welcome to Mackey and Judd once again.
It's great to be here. I'll just start off by saying one of the last times that we talked. Remember, we had the weekly show.
That was a blast. And then you went and said, "I'm gonna go be a coach now." That was
so crazy because that was my last year playing, and then I was also coaching at the time. But typical me, finding out a way to squeeze in Mackey and Judd when I was having like 4 jobs. I was on with you guys every Monday.
Yep.
Yeah.
For a while, and that was so fun. I miss those times, but it's good to be back on, and so much has changed since then.
Yeah, well,
it's like so crazy, but
I think the last time we had you on twice early in the pandemic. Once you came on, like when everyone was on lockdown and like everyone was afraid to like touch their door handles even because we didn't know what COVID was. And so you came on a happy hour. But then were you also a part of the Minnesota sports Zoom that we did where that was fun. That was
fun. So because like I said, so much has happened since then but that was fun. Happy hour was cool. And then, we had the big Zoom with everybody who could make it that one night. That was a really cool idea. You guys
it was like Lindsay. It was like all the Joe Mauer, all these prominent, and then randomly George Jeng from the Utah Jazz was.
That's
just
what
like,
it was. Yeah.
On the call. He's like,
it's like some guy from the Jazz shows up. It's like, what? Huh?
Matthew Hatchett. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. That was really cool.
So we want to ask you about the upcoming season and everything, but real quick, let's just get it out there. Vikings Seahawks on Sunday. What's going to happen?
I'll be at the Lynx game, so I'm not. No, I'm just kidding. I will be at the Lynx game. But I was going to say I'm not concerned, but I am concerned with how the Vikings fare. We're 2 plays away from being 2-0. It's unbelievable. The fumble, which wasn't a fumble, and then obviously the kick last weekend, and it's I don't know. How is Seattle? I don't know.
It's
Mackey,
Russell. It's Russell Wilson and a bunch of he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and they're working on the rest pretty much. I feel.
What's their record?
They're 1-1, right, Judd?
Yeah.
They blew a 14-point lead last week
to the Titans last week.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, awesome that we first game back in U.S. Bank in 2 years, and it should be. Downtown is going to be awesome on Sunday. Twins are home, Lynx playoffs.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Vikes. So I'm going to the Lynx game. I'm super pumped about that. But then just to be downtown in a vibe like that is going to be pretty sweet Sunday. When's the last time any of us have gotten to be doing that downtown? I'm super pumped for just the city, the state, everybody.
Hey, how much did COVID and no fans give you an appreciation for fans? Because I always personally thought, well, fans are great, but but especially football. After last year and going to games with no fans, my appreciation for stadiums being full now is so high. And it was so weird watching competitive sporting events in which athletes, I'm sure, really thrive from the fan reaction. It was just dead in buildings. It was so depressing, I thought, at times.
Yeah, it was. So coaching in it last year was, you're just thankful to be playing. You're so concerned and so worried about every day, are we going to be able to play, that it was just, you're thankful to be playing. Obviously, it's going to be way better with fans and have our players be able to play in front of their families and friends and fans. It's going to be, I can't wait. But as a fan watching now the WNBA this summer, watching baseball, watching college football these last several weekends, NFL with fans, I think we all took it for granted watching a game, the experience as a fan at home watching a game with fans is, so much better than. And we still got to watch them play last year in the bubble and no fans, and some stadiums had more fans than others. But I think, man, it was just now being able to watch these last few weeks of really getting back into the, the rhythm of, at the start of the WNBA season, there was hardly any fans and they were like super far back. And now watching the playoffs last night, seeing packed stadiums for those games is awesome. And so I can't wait to be able to have our players play in front of those crowds. And it's been so fun as a fan to be back at a couple games for the Gopher home games, and then obviously watching as much as you can on TV, having fans. It's just awesome that we have it back.
So with the Lynx starting the playoffs, it's kind of amazing. I think if you would have said, all right, Lindsay's going to be gone, Maya's going to be gone, and Simone, like you're going to lose your nucleus from a dynasty. There was never really even a rebuild. Like, I mean, they took a slight step back, and started 0-4 with some injuries this year. But to finish the season 17-3 or 16-3 or whatever it was down the stretch, the reload here has been amazing.
Yeah, 22-6 after 0-4, and so I mean, once again, it's Cheryl's right there for Coach of the Year. I'm guessing Kurt Miller will probably get it. They've had a great season. Connecticut's playing on a really, really at a really high level, but to get the 3 seed after starting 0-4 and the different injuries that they've had, Collier misses the first, I think, 2 games being overseas, just juggling still. I mean, in April and May, that's when I first got my first vaccine shot, and so it was like, we're still at that point, we were still like, and we still are dealing with it obviously, but we were kind of still getting like, how is this summer going to go for baseball and WNBA and MLS and things like that. So to be able to do that is just, I've been able to be around their staff a little bit I've been able to since we can go to games, been to 2 or 3 games, and they've just done a tremendous job, and got to go to a practice about a week ago, and yeah, it's exciting. The unfortunate thing is tomorrow or Sunday, it's a 1 game. It's against Chicago, and they have Candace Parker, and so I'd like to see that round. I like the format. We always did our best to get the double bye, so you're right into the semis and right into a 5-game series. So if you did have an off night, you still had a couple games to make up for it. I'd like to see this round go to best of 3. I think that, I don't know if, obviously you want to keep expanding and things like that. So I think this is one way that they should expand, is to get this to at least a best of 3. But yeah, they've just done a tremendous job this year.
What do you is the key to the culture there too? Because there just seems to be a relative, really impressive consistency. Where, you get off to a bad start, you don't just come back, you come back strong. What does Cheryl do that you've seen both up close and from afar that keeps that culture and keeps that ability to stay on track with, as Phil said, not having to rebuild, possibly retool, but certainly not tear things down?
Yeah, I think her attention to who she brings in as players, who she hires as staff. I think that, you're not getting in that locker room if you're not coming through those doors if you're not like a great person first, and you have, your team oriented first, and it's about the team and it's about the Lynx and the organization. She's so big on that. And so I think that, and then her competitiveness. So she brings in great people. She analyzes. I mean, she's brilliant, and so she really brings in people that are, high quality, high energy, top of the line, coaching staff and support staff and trainers and players. Did a great job in free agency this last off season. But then it's her competitiveness, her will to win is like nothing I've ever been around, and so. So having, high quality people, high functioning people, and then that competitive drive. So when they were 0-4, I'm guessing there was a sense of urgency. I'm guessing there was no panic, and she just kept going to work. And that's what I saw for 9 years playing for her. And it's obviously worked for.
Hey, first of all, I know you can't really talk much about recruiting. I will say it's kind of fun to see that 3 top 100 women's high school players have said that they would like to potentially play for Minnesota sometime in the near future. But my question to you is, like, Jalen Suggs came out this week and said, "Hey, if I would have loved to play for the men's team," and then a couple other players came out and say, "Yeah, we'd love to stay home, but they just didn't." I don't know. What is the key for you in your 3-4 years when it comes to in-state recruiting? Like, what is the players that you've officially landed in the past and anyone that you may land in the future? What is your general strategy and your key to making sure that, because there's a lot of talented high school basketball players, men's and women's, in this state. What have you learned over the last few years, and what's your key?
It's about building relationships and early, and so whether it's whether it's AAU organizations, high school, it's getting, we had to really take a few years and do our best to get back to being in kind of, I would say, good graces with a lot of the organizations within the state, because we're new, we're coming in. Everybody obviously had watched me play, but it took us some time to really get in there. And this is our philosophy, sharing your vision for the program with people that you want to bring in. And so, but just building that and just getting to know people, taking time. It takes time, and it takes that dedication. And, that's in what I've learned is recruiting is, it's everything at this level. It's everything, because it's who you, it's like we talked about with Cheryl, it's who you're bringing in, and we want to bring in, high quality individuals that want to be here and represent the University of Minnesota. And it just takes time and relationship building, and figuring out, sharing your vision for the program, and seeing us aboard and do it that way and share those values. It's there's no question it takes time, and it takes a lot of effort and energy.
How much has that game changed too in the last 20 years? Because it does seem like the recruiting game, and certainly how star athletes are treated now, has changed. Just when you go back and think about the Gophers and schools approaching you back in the day compared to now, how much has the recruiting game shifted and changed?
Well, it's like, everything in our society, it was, if I didn't want to take a phone call from a coach, I just didn't answer the phone. And I didn't have a cell phone that was just right there. And so it was,
It sounds like Judd's philosophy. When someone knocks on his door, he hides.
Yeah, he hides.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get the door. And
yeah, it just my hair is driving me nuts, by the way, because I can see myself. But so if it was like Sunday night was my night and I just didn't want to do it that week, I just wouldn't, and now it's everybody has a cell phone, so it's just so different, because everybody can be accessed, and if you missed a phone call, it is a lot more like letters and things like that to the house, and phone calls. But
my dearest Lindsay, I am the head coach, far, far away.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's everything, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that. Like like
it's more constant, right?
And all that stuff. It's more constant, and it is. But at the end of the day, it's it still is about people and about relationships, and it's just the means of connecting with people is just different, and so adjusting with that has been a big key for all of us.
How much have you guys had to go through just a crash course with the name, image, likeness stuff now? The gates opening up. I mean, to me, that would be a little overwhelming. Like, okay, wow, like, what does this look like in 5 or 10 years? And how do we capitalize? How much have you had to sort of cram here? Or have you been preparing for this, as an athletic department? How does that work behind the scenes?
We've been preparing, no doubt, for, I think, essentially since I took the job. And so I'm sure they were preparing before, 2018 when I got the job. But it's been a focus of the department, because you could just sense that it was coming, it was going to happen, that the NCAA was going to come down with this I guess ruling or rule or whatever. So it's something that no question we've been preparing for, and it's going to be something that's going to continue to evolve and change. So you have some rules from the NCAA, and then you have your institution's rules that the university has, the athletic department has handed down as guidance and rules. But it's going to change, I think, because it's never happened before in college athletics, right? This is a first. It's been since July, so we've had some training. Our players have had training in it. As a staff, we've had training in it, and so I think we'll just continue to see it evolve and change. And obviously, for some players, I'm sure it's been really, really good for them. And so yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting thing, like you said, in 5 years to really look back on, or actually follow a whole, like the freshmen now, follow somebody through their whole career and kind of see what the benefits for the student athletes have been. So it'll be an interesting kind of case study eventually, I think.
How much could you have made on your team that made the run if this rule existed then? Because, I mean, there were a lot of people that adopted you mainstream that loved that team. Yeah. Like Dex said, he and his dad. How much could you and like McCarville have pocketed if the NIL had existed back then?
Well, a lot more than we did, that's for sure. I mean, I
think it's a lot.
It is. I remember going to like Applebee's and them trying to just comp it, and I was like, I can't. I have to pay for it. I don't want to have anything. It's in the middle of my senior year. I don't want to have anything come back. And
those 2-for-1 appetizers, man. That's
chicken and rib basket was a big deal. So
that's good.
Yes.
Right. So I don't know. Be tough to. I don't know.
I'm envisioning McCarville doing like Canterbury Park ads for the blackjack tables or something. Come on out to Canterbury Park and play some Pai Gow.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I don't know. It's what it is now. The next generation gets to hopefully benefit from a lot of that we did. So I don't know. If you have any guesses, Judd Lee?
Well, you definitely would have been able to endorse like a used car lot or something. Lindsay Whalen here. Come on down to the used car lot.
But I think because my God, because the kids loved you guys too. So I think that there would have been a really big push there, especially during that run. I think that you two in particular, but that entire team would have done really well.
Yeah.
Because it was mainstream. Like it went from being a nice little story, it felt like, and sort of a cult, sport a little bit, to statewide. I mean, I remember doing the TV column back then and getting the ratings locally for those games that you guys were playing once you got to the tournament. They were through the roof. Like, they weren't good. They were great. So, yeah, there was a lot of potential revenue left on the table back then because of the lack of the NIL.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Nick Saban, the genius, coming out right away like a few months ago and saying, yeah, well, our quarterback's already made $1 million. So if anyone else wants to come play for Alabama,
Hey, so what can't you do now short of paying a player yourself? Like what are the rules now compared to what they were? Because if the person can go to a booster and get a deal, the NCAA can't crack down on that, right?
I got to look at that one again when it comes to. I really do. I know. As coaches, we don't have a ton of involvement. It's it's kind of the student athletes to kind of make and kind of put as much into it as they want. We don't have. It's kind of not our thing. It's. Obviously, we're aware, and it's something that is here now. But as coaches, we don't have a whole lot of other than like what Nick Saban said, like kind of an observation of things that they're hearing. You don't have any involvement in it, and so it's kind of up to each like I said, each student athlete to kind of if they want to make some money and they want to go out and do it, it's kind of on them to go and I've seen some players around the country have signed with like a marketing agent, and so it's kind of on those lines for them to like I told them, I kind of, in college it was like, yeah, you know what, a lot of potential revenue was left on the table from when me and Janelle and everybody our run, but at the same time, that was not something we were remotely worried about or didn't have to worry about. We were kids, and so
Right.
I think it's good. But I told our players, if you're going to work on this, do it because any revenue you make, speaking of revenue, you're gonna have to pay taxes. And so I think it's another way that players have to kind of grow up kind of fast.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed my college time, being a kid, and we didn't have those things to worry about. And so while I think it's overall a positive thing, it still is something when I played that it just wasn't, it wasn't, it was, we could focus on school and basketball and your friends, that. And so part of that, I think, is, I guess what I'm trying to say in a long roundabout ways, I am thankful for the time I went through, because we could really just be college kids.
Yeah. Well, you've got some really good things brewing, young players, and there will be more young players on the way that are highly touted. If people want to watch Gopher women's basketball, where's the best spot to get tickets? Gophersports.com?
Gophersports.com. That's the best place to go. I'm thrilled that we're going to have fans again. I hope everyone is as well, of our fans, and hopefully we'll get some new fans that are excited about the team. We've got returning. We've got 12 of our 16 back from last year, so big positive and continuity. Bring back Sarah Scalia, who was all-conference honorable mention. We bring back Jazz Powell, who made second team. Kadiatu Sissoko, who is from France, is just scratching the surface of what she last year was just scratching the surface on what she will be this year. Godiva Hubbard is here for using her COVID year that everybody deservedly got back after last year, and brought 13 out of the rafters, so she's going to wear 13. I know there was a little bit of controversy around that, but it was my decision. So
Nice.
We spoke on it a couple years ago, and I just read just in passing, she said, "Yeah, I really wanted to wear 13 is my favorite number," and but they told me I couldn't. And the jerseys are all honored and they're all commemorated, but they're not officially retired. And so it was something where it was kind of in this, can you wear it? And I'm like, bring it back. If that was her dream to wear 13 in college, I want her to be able to have that at least for a year. And then hopefully for other future players, a number is a big deal. And so while I had a great 4 years in that number, as did Deb Hunter, because there's 2 13s up there in the rafters, I want other players to be able to, if that's a thing for them, I want them to be able to do that. So excited for the year. First game, November 9th, against Jacksonville. And then we go out west for a tough game against Arizona State a couple nights later. Non-conference is tough. It's the hardest schedule in the Big Ten. It's because of some contracts with COVID. Some different games fell on this year. Going to the Bahamas will be great. We play UConn first game.
Wow.
So it's big time. This is year 4 for me. We've got our first class that we recruited. Those players are now juniors, and obviously we've got some grad transfers in, and like I said, Diva taking her COVID year. We've got some exciting freshmen that I think you guys will be really enjoy watching. But it's go time. It's go time. Last year was tough. That's now in the past, and it's like we're giving her this year. And like I said, we'll definitely be battle tested for the Big Ten. Our first year we were 11-0 in the non-conference, and then we get to conference and we start out not good. We were not ready. We didn't have enough of these tests. And so record-wise, what that looks like in the non-conference, we'll see. We'll see. We're going to give it everything we have, and then I know we're going to be battle tested for the Big Ten. So it's like I said, why I'm here is to make sure our student athletes have a great experience and a great time at the University of Minnesota. But it's for sure also to win. And so we got to go. We got to go now. And I wouldn't want to do it with any other group than the 16 women that I look at every day in the circle. So I'm ready to go.
Real quick, last thing on that front. What do you think is possible if given, you're bringing talented players in? Is it getting back to the women's Final Four where you guys were, back in your day? What's real? Not this year necessarily, but like in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you think is possible? What do you want?
Well, I think if you look that big picture, that the fact that I did it here, I know it can be done as a player. And so that's why, like we talked about shared vision early. And I keep looking up at the banner because it's out in our practice court. That's why I keep looking up, is that I'm looking at the Final Four banner. So the fact that I know that can be done because I was on a team that did it, that's ultimately is, that experience changed my life, going to the Final Four. As you said, Judd, the ratings and the TV and all that, it's, how I didn't maybe necessarily at that point in my life realize it. It's, now it's one of the big reasons why I have this job is that experience in fighting through those things and having that amount of success. And so now as a coach and as somebody who is here to, coach and mentor young women, that experience, I want them to have that same experience because it changed my life. And, we'll work here tirelessly until we get to that point. And it can be done. There's no question because it's been done. And now, like I said, it's about, hiring the right people, bringing in the right student athletes that can get that done. And so we're on our way. We're taking steps. We're in a society where we all want it now. And trust me, we all want it now, but the day-to-day, the making those incremental improvements are huge for us. And so there's no question it can be done. That's the ultimate. Growing up in the Big Ten, the black and blue are, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. I love this conference. So ultimately winning a Big Ten championship is something that I never did as a player. So we'll see. We're going to give it everything we have for that. We did go to a Final Four, a couple of Sweet 16s. So I know it can be done. But to me, that would be right up there because obviously this conference is so good. And in women's basketball, we have 4 teams go to the Sweet 16 last year. So we know it's a high quality conference. And so just growing up, being such a Gophers fan and then watching us compete in the Big Ten, that would be, personally, that'd be pretty great as well. So it's just continuing the day-to-day, bringing in great people. If we do those things, I think we can have a lot of success and a lot of fun while we do it.
Love it. Love it. Lindsay Whalen, friend of the show. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
And enjoy one of the more fun downtown Minneapolis sports days this weekend too. That should be awesome.
Absolutely. And it's homecoming here at the U. So volleyball tonight against Michigan, football tomorrow against Bowling Green, and then Sunday is jam packed with the pro sports. So what a time, right?
What a time
to be alive.
Unless you're a Timberwolves fan, but that's a conversation for another day. All right. That's a wrap. Mackey and Judd, thanks to Lindsay Whalen. We'll see you guys next time on the show.